Hi.
Trisha, how's it
How are
going?
you? Sorry, I have to clean this. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Do you want to turn on the light in your room?
Yeah, I don't know why this is
It
like
looks
every
so
time I
dark.
I realize like, well, I have this light here. It's not actually not dark. I don't know. It's like it looks like there's something above me.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab my water. I don't know why it looks like that, but
Um, Tell me about Rosebud Thorn for you. Also, by the way, just like a heads up, I did order Uber Eats. It's 7:30. I haven't eaten even lunch today.
that's not a problem.
So I might just like if I get a doorbell, grab that, be off video for like 5 minutes, try to like scarf things down as
Okay.
we're chatting. But I'm just like giving you a heads up in advance.
Yeah, no problem. Um, Rosebud thorn. I would say my I don't know if this is like a thorn or like a bud, but I'm taking SAT on Saturday.
Okay.
So I had my final session with my tutor today, which
Okay.
is kind of weird. I mean, I'm assuming I'm going to be taking it another time,
Yep.
but I don't know. It's just kind of it's just weird that I'm actually taking a real one. Rose, honestly, I don't have anything at the moment. That's this week has been like really crazy for me. Like the stretch between Thanksgiving and Christmas break, which
Yeah.
is in like 2 weeks, is just like I personally think the worst time of the entire year.
Totally.
Because it's just so hectic. The weather's changing. Like I don't feel great. Just I
Yeah.
have like a million things going on.
Yeah.
Um, but and then I guess Bud, you could say, would just be like having 2 good weeks off, like in the middle of December, which is nice because it's now December 1st. So
You're,
hopefully that'll come quick.
you're totally close. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, awesome. Well, you're coming to a head with a lot of things. Let me quickly view my rosebud thorn, and then why don't we talk updates? And then, as per the usual, let's figure out the agenda together and see what we need to focus on.
Right. Perfect.
Cool. Okay. So my rose is I had a really great Thanksgiving at home with my family. Just like really, I'm like starting to love being home. I feel like I figured out the right balance of being in New York and being home in Jersey, which is good. I think my bud is I am going to the US Virgin Islands with my dad in 2 weeks. And so I'm going to be working remotely from there and just like being in water and the ocean. Like I haven't done that in like 7 months and been in nature. It's like time flies in New York City. So it's definitely a bud and just being home with my family. Um, and then my thorn is just, I think I've said this before, but like work politics. I think a lesson that I'm trying to figure out right now in my life is how to set boundaries and like set my capacity limit to be like, I can only take on this much. And like, because otherwise they're going to keep throwing stuff at you and they're going to ask you to like put that boundary, but I am not there yet. Right. And like
Mhm.
saying, hey, this is how much I can take on and knowing how much I can take on.
Mhm.
And so I'm kind of like going through an exercise of, hey, this is like the quality of the stuff. If you want me to be good quality, like this is how much I can do. Uh,
Right.
and so that's like a tough conversation to have to be like, actually, you do have limitations. It's just like not a mindset that I'm used to.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I think a good lesson for everyone all around.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And that never goes away too. It's something that that's with you always, like whether it be school, work, like personal life.
Totally. And I like sometimes I think I used to be of the mindset of like, you just work hard and hustle and like that's what will get you there. But like, no, that there are boundaries. Like you can't just work hard for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And so I'm like starting to realize that just like hustling is not always going to be the answer.
Mhm. Mhm.
Anyways, something for you to think about. Hopefully, like my experiences, I always share these types of things because I'm like, I think it might be some level of insight for my students as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Why don't you give me updates?
So this week has been a bit frustrating for
Hmm.
me. So there have been a few things,
Okay.
not all bad, but most of them not great. So the first thing was that I reached back out to, this is still so confusing to me.
Friend.
to Donna Burns
Yeah.
and sent her an email. And I think like I had sent you the email before, like we had gone over that.
Yep.
And I sent you that email. Like it just is very like kind of cryptic and like confusing to me on my end. I'm just a little bit frustrated because I don't feel like my school is supporting me.
Yeah.
And I'm just a little bit confused why like this would have to be going. Oh, like she said she wanted to talk to Miss King, who I said is like the headmaster of my school,
Yep.
about it if she could like give me contacts, which is
Yeah.
just doesn't really make sense to me because it's not like there was like an instant or anything. I mean, I know that what like I said before, I think I did tell you this, but like how a board member had complained that it was on the night of a Jewish holiday.
Yeah.
But
I believe this is what
like
you're dealing with.
yeah. So I mean, it's just kind of frustrating to me because like that is literally the essence of the program, like having speakers, and
Yeah,
I still have 0 speakers at the moment,
totally.
which is just hard. And then I had a call with Trisha Kemp on yesterday, which to be honest didn't go that well.
Why?
She was nice and like enthusiastic, but she was like she was very kind of like clear and like you can tell she's a busy person, and like even though she is a good friend of my aunt's, like she was like, I just don't think I can really help you.
Mm.
Like I think you should go back to your speakers and ask if they have recommendations for speakers. And she was just like, she was like, yeah, like what would you want from me? And I was like, oh well, just any recommendations of speakers, or if you have any recommendations at all, or any ways to like help or to expand this.
Yep.
And she kind of didn't really have anything to say. But the other thing that I'm learning is that I think I need people who are not necessarily high up, like her or other people that work in finance, because they're not going to be, first of all, they're more busy,
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
And it might be easier if I have someone who's like young, like those 2 speakers that I had who had just like graduated from college a few years
Yeah.
ago, kind of like in the business school age, versus someone who's been doing this for like 30 years.
Yeah.
And I tried to explain that to her. I was like, I will take, and like, I'm very open to any type of speaker, like no matter their kind of like their age. Like I said to her, we had someone who was their first year out of college versus someone who had been working like 20 plus years. And there wasn't like anything bad, but it wasn't a productive conversation really.
Okay.
Whereas I have talked to people in the past who've been like, okay, like how can I help? Like, what do you want me to do? Kind of that was what I was expecting to hear.
Yep.
So that was kind of frustrating to me.
Okay.
And then the 2 other things were, I had a meeting with a teacher at my school named Mr. Walker, who was the head of the Boys and Girls Club in Greenwich.
Yep.
And it's his 2nd year at GA, and he's like the head of the diversity program, something like that. Like he has a job that's not just a teacher.
Okay.
And he was incredible. Like he was like, I will leave school now and like send out these flyers, and like
Wow.
I will email these people, like, what do you want? He was really enthusiastic. And we were just, but it seems like his reach is just in Greenwich. Like he's very connected in Greenwich, which is good. But he was like, I don't necessarily know anyone else like outside of Greenwich, and then Stamford, which is another town. And he was like, I'm willing to like just call people and try and think of other connections.
Mhm.
And he emailed the Greenwich Library, which is a pretty big library. And he said he knows the CEO of the library. I didn't even know that was the thing. But he emailed her and asking, but like the main ask was like if we could post the flyers, because he seems to think that that would be the most effective in getting people to sign up.
Okay.
And she said yes. And then he said he was also going to reach out to like a few other places, and then I'm supposed to meet with him again on Friday.
Okay.
So I mean, like, I guess if I have to adjust and then the other thing was I decided that I'm not doing it in January. Like, I changed the date.
Great.
And said that I needed to start in February, because like at this point I'm like pretty much 1 month out and I have 0 speakers, 0 signups.
Yep.
So that's not gonna work. Especially if Donna Burns said like, okay, let's regroup after like the holidays, even though that might be like an empty offer. But if she could get me speakers, after the holidays, that's what I consider like the new year. So
Yep. Well, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. That was one thing that I was like a little worried about bringing up with you, frankly. But the reality is, like, I just think we're trying to come to a head with like, basically the holiday season. People, especially in financial institutions, are trying to hit their financial goals and wrap up things by the end of like Q4 and like set their strategy.
that's exactly what she said.
Yeah, it's just like, particularly in financial institutions, I was hoping it wouldn't be the case, but given, I think it was like a balance of, we were trying to be aggressive, but like being open to readjusting. I think that's like always the biggest learning, is like, let's be aggressive, but open to readjusting. And I think that's kind of what was the lesson here, is like, okay, great. So I'm glad that you adjusted there.
Yeah.
2 quick questions I have. Gains, what was the follow-up there?
Oh yeah. So then I also had another meeting with her because she wanted to see the poster.
Yeah.
And she had recommendations like for what I should change, and actually gave me a really good idea, saying I should put a QR code on it.
Great.
And which I did, and I can show you that just before I send it back to her. And she said a few other things, like there was just like a few small edits. She was like, add no like previous knowledge necessary, just like a few small things, because she's done this type of stuff before, so she knows kind of what people are looking for.
Yep.
But she was also extremely helpful. And then the other thing was, I mean, this is kind of like a minor detail, but she recommended using this service called like MarketChimp or something.
Okay. MailChimp.
Yeah. That like sends emails, which I mean, at this point I don't have anyone to send emails to, but
Yeah, I mean, I think you're manually doing it right now, but keep it up.
yeah. But or this other thing where when you sign up on the website, it links right to a spreadsheet, which I was able to do. So that way I don't have to put all the names like individually into a spreadsheet, which is another like super minor detail. But I guess that will make my life easier when people do start signing up.
Okay, awesome. Instagram post. I know you're resistant to it, and I know I keep pushing towards it.
Yeah, so we have more posts on Instagram now, if you want to look, or I can share my screen. Madeline actually did make posts, which were good. I haven't promoted any yet, because I was actually going to ask which one do you think I should promote, and if you don't think any of them are good enough, we can make a new one. But she archived the other ones, which I kind of think is smart, because it's like I mean, I could tell her to put them back up.
Yep.
But here, I can share my screen with you.
Change the setting. Okay, go for it.
So we have these posts, and then we changed the bio. Changed the profile picture, and then yeah, I mean, do you think we need others? Because it might be helpful to have posts from the last session with like the speakers, but at the same time it might be kind of confusing, because you can't like change the way that they, the order that they were posted in.
Yep. So I think that you can basically do a couple of posts of like what our pilot program looked like. Speakers, like it can just be a post hoc. It doesn't have to be like a, hey, this is like, I think you can create new ones just to have like 3 tiles of like this speaker, this speaker, this speaker. Because you just, I mean, you want to promote Bank of America, not Bank of America, Morgan Stanley and the other ones. You just want to like show that it's a credible organization. Like people are going to be like, is this credible? That is what they're concerned about. Cause like, frankly, Patricia, you know this, you've done the market research. Like there are tons of people who do this, right? Like, why would they sign up for this? Like, what is the incentive for them to do that?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Okay, I'll tell her that. So what would you think that would look like? Just like 2 posts that would basically say like what the last session was?
yeah, I mean, I think you can create like, what did last sessions look like? You know, this topic with this speaker and from this brand, this topic with this speaker from this brand, this topic from this speaker from this brand. Just do it for 2 or 3 of them who you think are impressive.
Okay. Okay, I can text her now and tell her that.
Wait, can you share the screen with me again before you text her? I want to see if there's any feedback on any of these posts. I'm having the same issue where you're like sharing screen, but like it's just black.
So weird.
Right? Remember that happened last time too?
Yeah.
Can you stop sharing and try sharing again?
Mm-hmm. This is not working.
Nope. Okay, the only feedback that I had that I remembered, otherwise we're gonna have to hop off the Zoom and come back on, is basically like, if people say like learn financial skills, like once again, they have no incentive to sign up, right? You need to like, the incentive that you have is that you have someone from Morgan Stanley, you have someone from this, you have someone from that. Like that's the incentive that's gonna get people to be like, yes, this is why I wanna do it.
Okay.
Right? So like on that middle post, like that's what I would promote basically. I would say like learn with girls across the country, any high schooler, free, attend Morgan Stanley, blah, blah, blah. We'll teach you how to manage your money and invest.
So in a new post.
I would update that post.
Which one?
The middle one that you showed me, that's what I would update basically to add a couple of the logos.
Do you want to look on your
Yeah.
like computer and then you can just make sure that we're.
If you can stop sharing and then send me the link.
Because I think like specific, like I want to go to her and have something, you know, very specific.
Yep. So let me share my screen. Cool. Oh, okay, got it. You said it here. Well, one, you want to update the dates.
Yeah.
For all of these. The second thing that I would do is like, here I would actually say, and maybe you want to write these notes down on our pre-works or somewhere.
Yeah, I'll wait. I just need to get a piece of paper.
Tell me when you're ready.
Okay, 1 second. Okay.
Okay. So in this one, you basically want to say sign, I like sign up. I'm trying to figure out like, think if you were the user, right? That whenever you're creating content, always think about if you're the user and you see this as an ad on your Instagram, what would incentivize you to be like, I want to sign up for this?
I mean, honestly, I think like the way that it looks.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know though.
Take a step back and think about it for a moment. When you're scrolling through and you see an ad, what's like, oh, wait, the information.
Yeah, I think honestly, like my first impression when I look at it.
Okay, great. So the first impression, but I think the design is on point, right? So I think you did a great job with the design here. I think what you want to say is sign up to, I would actually just say learn how to invest as a minor, frankly. Because I feel like nobody's actually interested in financially literate. Like that's a really dull phrase,
Yeah.
right? So like sign up to learn how to invest as a minor. That's like a very actionable thing.
Okay.
And then I would just basically say speakers include Bank of America and Morgan Stanley.
Where in the which box?
In this one, this middle one, because that's going to be the one I want you to promote.
No, I'm saying in which box in that. Like,
I would put it in this one.
should I take out any of the, or should we take out any of the other details or just?
I think at the top you can say high school students across the US sign up to learn how to invest as a minor. 5 45-minute Zoom sessions, date, speakers from. You can be like calling all high school students. Sign up to learn how to invest as a minor. Patricia, I'm going to run and grab my food quickly, but like if you write that down and then let's come back and talk about that. Okay. I'm going to be
So
on.
then what about in the box, like topics like? Delete that?
Yeah, you might change it if you're going to say invest as a minor. You might say budgeting, prepare for college, credit score. We can say topics like mock investing, preparing for college, at budgeting.
Okay. And then the other thing is the flyer. I mean, I don't know why my share thing isn't working. That's really annoying. But I would like to show you the flyer before I send it back to Mr. Walker and Dr. Decker for them to send it out.
Awesome. Do you want to try sharing your screen with me again? And maybe just try sharing the window versus the entire screen and or vice versa.
How do I share like a PDF?
Open the PDF.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I have no idea why this is not working.
Should I leave?
Yeah, why don't we end it? Actually, no. Can you just send it to me? Is it in a Google Drive?
No, it's in
Can you quickly upload it to Google Drive and then send me the link? I'll just share screen.
or can I email it to you?
Totally. Email it to me right now.
Okay. It's not much different. It's just she said to include format and then the QR code. And then she actually said to oh yeah, and then add like no previous skills or knowledge necessary.
Okay. Let me know when you've
Yeah, I sent it.
Oh, you did? Okay. Did you send it to my personal or Spike Lab email?
The Gmail.
You sent it to my Gmail. Okay, cool. 1 second. I'm gonna just share my screen with you again. I think this is great.
try clicking on like,
This link,
yeah.
it doesn't work.
Ugh.
But the website is very clear, learntoearn.org.
So you don't think it matters?
I mean, I think it's like, I don't think it's worth losing sleep over. I think you have other things that you need to, like, part of what you're trying to figure out what to do and like given, and I know you're a bit of a perfectionist, Patricia, too. So I understand how frustrating this is. But like part of entrepreneurship is figuring out what's high value and low amount of time versus something that's low value and a lot of time. And I think this is a low value and a lot of time thing to figure out.
Okay, I'm gonna email it to Dr. Decker right now.
Okay, yeah, why don't you do that right now? To both Dr. Decker and Mr. Walker.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to go into the other document, into our pre-work and just take notes there a little.
And then the other thing she said was like, I mean, she's basically said to me she'd be more willing to promote it if I had some sort of like if I put like the Gains logo on it.
Oh, interesting.
Which I wouldn't be completely opposed to because at this point I have no other like alternatives. So like if she would more heavily promote it, if I did put the Gains thing on it, that might confuse people, but I don't know.
I mean, I think what you can do at the bottom is like supported by Gains. Like there's no harm doing that.
Where would I put that?
Let me go back into the email. Did she say explicitly that she would be more supportive if that was the case?
Well, she was like, I'm happy to help you, like, no matter what, but like, if you would want to, like, you know, like if you would want to put the Gains thing on it or like something like that, and then I could put it on the website.
She said that explicitly.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, here's my take on it. My take on it is that I don't think it's harmful to actually say that you have partners. I think it adds more credibility to your organization to be like, I partnered with this organization, I partnered with this organization, etc. I don't think if she is open to saying like in partnership with Gains, like it doesn't minimize your efforts at all. You can put at the bottom in partnership with Gains, like here, I'm not sharing my screen with you. In the bottom left here, like you can move the QR code up, you can make it a little smaller, by the way. And then you can say in partnership with Gains and then the Gains logo right there.
In my email, I'll say to her, I'll send her the one that I have right now.
Great. I have some thoughts and more outreach, not for participants, but for speakers. But let's wrap this up first. Let me know when you sent that.
What do I even say in my email?
What was the last conversation that you have?
I went to her office and we just talked about the flyer. And then she was like, send me the updated flyer.
Okay, great. So you can in the email say, we've updated the flyer. Thanks so much for your feedback. Has she made it clear who she's distributing it to?
Yeah, she was like the Gaines Network.
Great. Be like, how are you going to distribute this to the Gaines Network? Would that be through email or otherwise? I'm happy to also provide a paragraph blurb if you're going to send out one mass email. If there's anything else, please let me know. I'm like really thankful for your willingness to distribute along.
Yeah, and maybe just not say anything about that.
You can also say, by the way, or at the top, you can say, what was the first sentence that I said?
Sorry, one sec. Let me finish this quick sentence so I don't forget. I said, hi, I updated the flyer with the notes that you suggested earlier this week. Thank you so much for your feedback. How are you going to distribute this? How are you going to distribute this to the Gaines Network? Would this be through email? If you're going to send a mass email, I can provide a small blurb explaining the program in a few short sentences. Thank you for your help.
Yeah. You might also like right after the here's the updated flyer, you could be like, I am also very happy to quickly put the Gaines and you can put in quotes, in partnership with the Gaines Network at the bottom of the flyer, if that would help as you distribute. You done with that?
Yeah, I just sent it.
Okay, do you want to send it to Mr. Walker right now too? Is that his name?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool. I'm just taking notes on you. Okay, so you send it out to that, great. I have an idea. Now that we've realized that you want to actually focus on a younger population, I actually think there are a ton of organizations that you can just reach out to from these institutions. So I'm going to share my screen with you. For example, Harvard Business School has a women in investing club, and they're often the leadership team. Their email addresses are here. They all work in finance. They're all probably the type of people you'd want to speak, and they're leaders in this organization. And so they're likely have some contacts and or might be good candidates themselves, if not having other classmates. They're also in grad school, so they have the time and bandwidth. If you look at, oh, not this one. Educate and enrich women on the fundamentals of finance. They do something very similar, but they do it to educate undergraduate women. I think what you can do is you can reach out to the team and say, hey, would either of you be willing to do this, but for high school students, like to be a teacher?
And this organization is for,
they're reaching out to undergraduates, but like you can basically say, hey, you're an undergraduate at Stanford, like who has experience in trading at Goldman Sachs and real estate at Blackstone. Like, would you consider being a speaker since you're like, okay with it being a bit younger?
right. And what is their exact offering? They're just like, do they say like what they're teaching or?
Yeah, here they're, I mean, like they teach undergraduates. They have like a seminar series, which is similar to what you're doing, right? They have a research.
Oh, wow.
They have a research analyst program, some portfolio investment committee, etc. These are like pretty complicated. The women in investing, like they do basically a huge, like they build a community on campus. They often run a conference, which is a really big deal. So basically,
yeah, there was like Harvard does like a bowl. I got an email from it, or not from it, but the girl who actually like was promoting it went to my high school. But it's called like BOLD, like Women in Business Club.
Yep. And so, I mean, I think there are a lot of these where you can pinpoint and see like, hey, who are the people who have a background in finance, right? Like, are any of these people in finance who you can be like, I can reach out to? In this case scenario may not be, because this is not necessarily a finance organization, but there are some that are finance, like this one is a finance organization. This one is a finance organization. So I just look at some of those top schools and be like, who are the people who are either recent alum of being a part of this organization, or who are people who are currently on the leadership team that I can reach out to with their email addresses here.
Okay, will you send me these?
Yeah, I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm putting it in our pre-work document right now.
Okay.
I'm going to just write as our task, reach out to university level organizations, see outreach section in notes below for potential speakers. These speakers are the ones are a bit younger in terms of their experience in the finance industry, but nevertheless are experienced enough. So I'm gonna, do you want to take like 5 minutes to research this together, or do you feel like you can do research on this on your own, or would you like?
Yeah, I think I could probably do research on it on my own.
Okay, cool.
And then I can just send them an email.
Okay, so I encourage you to look at top business schools, including Kellogg, UChicago. I forget what UChicago. Do they have a good? Yeah, they have a good business school. MIT, Dartmouth, Harvard I included below. Stanford, which I kind of included their undergraduate organization, but business school and business school feels like a sweet spot because they've like had a couple of years experience under their belt.
Right.
Um,
And then in my email to them, my main ask would be like just explaining the program and asking if they would want to speak.
yeah, if you think that they would be a good person, you would want it. You have to be a little bit specific in these asks, by the way. You need to be like, this is what I like about your background. This is what stands out to me. Like that's the art of kind of the outreach.
Right.
And so you'd ask if they'd be willing to be a speaker.
Okay.
Stanford, Dartmouth, Wharton. I think those are the business schools. Okay. So that I think is a new potential lead for you for outreach. And you already have a spreadsheet, right? So I want you to update those spreadsheets.
So by update, you mean just add all those new people that I
All
would
the you just want to be able to have a list of these are all the people I reached out to, whether they
Mhm.
responded or not. Like, right? Like you got to know, like I reached out to Mr. Walker. Mr. Walker reached out to Boys and Girls Club of America, both for participants and for speakers. You just want it represented everywhere. Otherwise you're going to forget.
Okay. And then he also said that like Wells Fargo has some sort of like they've asked the Boys and Girls Club to like they have led sessions at the Boys and Girls Club on like financial literacy because they like young people to kind of put their money in. Like they would want them to start with a bank, and then if they give the sessions,
Yep.
those kids are gonna want to open. So they said like a few banks actually do have stuff where they do teach financial literacy, but like I honestly like finding that on the internet is kind of going to be hard, and then finding like like that seems so broad. But
What are you trying to do by reaching out to them?
we'll just see if they would like have speakers. I don't even know.
Okay, well, as long as it's like not a competing initiative, right? Like that's the only risk. But ultimately, it's like you have to ask if I agree. Like I think it could be amazing to get a speaker from them if you think Mr. Walker can make the ask for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've done speaker outreach, we've touched base about that, former speakers, and then you had one touch base with a former speaker, right?
Oh yeah, I sent a follow-up email today.
Nothing.
Asking if she had a chance to like if she had any recommendations. That was like a few hours ago, so hopefully she responds. I mean, do you think it's worth it to send another email to the past speakers?
I don't think so at this point.
Like I mean it, yeah.
Have you sent one more follow-up email? Like what was the history of events there again?
I can look. I don't really remember. Can't find the I sent a follow-up on November 18th.
Okay.
And didn't hear anything.
And did not hear anything. Okay, so you might want to send them an email to say, I'm sending a follow-up here. By the way, given the holidays, we've actually pushed out our date. This is an updated list of topics, would be like just super eager to be connected with anybody if you, and would be like, if you're interested in giving a session again as well.
Okay. And then the other thing that the woman that I spoke to yesterday said was that like she was like, I mean, she was kind of rude. She was like, people like no one's gonna want to help like a girl from Greenwich. Basically saying that like because everyone around here, they're not really like. She's like, well, no one at your school has a job, which like probably is true. Like a job meaning that they're not like trying to support themselves independently of their parents. But she was like, that's why it might be hard for speakers, like because um it also like they're not gaining anything from it,
Yeah.
like they have to do extra work on their own, which is true. And so she said, well, if you could write up like an outline beforehand that they should cover.
I don't think you have the expertise to do that though. Like maybe.
Yeah, I was like, well, last time the point of it was that kind of I let it be up to them what topics they thought would be most important given like the broad topic that I gave them.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you can propose though is like, I'm happy to make it a question and answer session whereby I prepare the questions ahead of time that this like 10 questions that the students are going to have and you come prepared with answers. Like that might be helpful. People love doing question and answers. And so maybe that's a proposal you can redo for speakers. Like either if you have content of your own, or I'm happy to make it a question and answer format.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to write that down in your to-dos. Offer a question and answer format.
So you mean when I like reach out to potential speakers, I say like, it could be just a question and answer if you're more comfortable doing that versus a presentation. But also, I'm going to them with a topic that I want them to do. I'm not asking them to choose the topic. I'm asking them to choose the details.
Yep, totally. But you can basically be like, these are the types of things that I think young people are going to want to know. And they're like smart enough to be able to just talk about it.
Yeah.
And you can send them the questions ahead of time. You could be like, if you have any slides to maybe answer, it just like helps direct them basically.
Okay.
The other thing that you want to say is like, to the point about being a girl from Greenwich and like nobody here has a job, right? You want to say that we are aiming for this to be a program that touches anybody.
Well, that's what I said. Well, she was like, who are you trying to reach? And I was like, well, it's over Zoom. So I'm just kind of trying to reach anyone who would be interested in learning. And then I actually said to her, I was like, even though like people's parents might work in finance or like work at a bank or something, like half of my friends don't even know what the stock market is.
Totally. And what was her reaction to that?
She like didn't say anything.
Okay. I mean, I think that's the whole point, right? Like you can come from a lot of privilege and you can still not know because like young people don't know. Like
yeah,
in all ways, shapes and forms. Okay. I think, would you be open to me posting about this on my LinkedIn for speakers?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool.
I know that Lloyd emailed me and said he had like one person who said they'd be interested, and I responded to him and said like, okay, great. Like I would love to be in contact, like I would love to get in contact with her, and then I haven't heard anything.
Yep, great. Okay, good. As long as you responded to that. I'm trying to see, is there anything else that we need to talk about right now that's at the top of your mind? I don't right now, because I know we're just like still trying to like brute force, trying to find speakers and participants. I want to see, I like still remains to be seen how the Instagram post, because like that's my other channel in terms of trying to seek participants. I think Gaines Network is great. I think Boys and Girls Club is great. Can you ask Mr. Walker if there's a national Boys and Girls Network as well?
Yeah, and then when I meet with him on Friday, I'm gonna also say that I also have a meeting scheduled with another person from the Boys and Girls Club next week.
Okay.
Who just said she answered me and said she would want to help. So I guess hopefully that will open up some more opportunity for people to sign up. I mean, a lot of these organizations do have like a finance something kind of program, but he said he was like, to be honest, like I don't know how effective or like even if it's still running, but he said I know in the past like places have run something.
Yep. I want you to brainstorm, and I'm putting a task here for you to brainstorm other channels for participant marketing. So for example, Boys and Girls Club is great because a lot of people who are part of that organization don't have access. Are there other organizations like that, like Big Sister, Big Brother, Big Sister? Like maybe, maybe not, right?
Yeah, well, we looked at all those and they just didn't answer me.
There were some that we did. YMCA, Girl Scouts, Girls with Impact, FBLA. Nobody from FBLA followed up, by the way, right?
No, the guy actually did this. I mean, he signed it saying he was the CEO. I don't know if he was actually the CEO.
But then you followed up to that, right? And he didn't respond.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, and you were like, well, is the email linked? And then he was like, no, sorry, I forgot to put the email. And then I sent that woman an email and I just didn't hear anything.
So did you follow up on that?
I can check.
Like, this is why your spreadsheet is important, because like I want you to go into the spreadsheet right now and update it, by the way, and just like see.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I did on November 28th. So how many days ago was that? 2 days ago?
Okay, cool. So you follow up with the FBLA guy?
Well, he said my apologies, Patricia. I copied Carla now, and then I sent her an email on November 28th, but I haven't followed up since November 28th, which was only like, what was that, Sunday?
I think you can still follow up now.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're going to go in and update your spreadsheet, right?
Yeah.
We're creating that as a task for you. Networking tracker, outreach channels, both to speakers and to participants. The other type of organization I was thinking about is, I don't want you to totally close yourself off, right? Like the whole point of this is that you got to have grit, right? Like you reached out to 10, great. Like, let's keep doing it. Like, I wonder, for example, TFA, is there someone from Greenwich Academy who works at TFA, right? Like, that's how we want to be thinking. Is there a Greenwich Academy alumni database, by the way?
Well, that's what the Career Resource Center is.
But there's no other one?
No, like this, Donna Burns is the head of the Career Resource Center, which is the Alumni Connections.
So for us, like, for example, at Stanford, we have an online database where we can search if someone works at a company and see if there's a connection there. So nothing like that, once again, for Greenwich Academy. It's just Donna.
No, not that I know of. I mean, she also, I think I'm going to have a call with her next week. And like, even though she's not sounding that positive about it, like,
yeah.
The other thing is, like, I'd be willing to go and speak to my headmaster and like explain this to her.
Yeah.
If that would be what it takes to get me allowed to use the GA network, and like not in a pushy way, but like explain that like people did positively react. Like if it gets to the point where Donna Burns is like unresponsive, I will email Ms. King directly and ask to meet with her.
Well, what's the harm of you doing that now? Like, she
said she's like busy until like Christmas, which I can't even imagine that's true. But
your headmaster?
Yeah, and also like I don't think I should go in over Donna Burns's head. Like she basically, the tone of that email was like, hold back.
Got it.
Yeah. You know, like kind of just like chill out and we'll regroup.
Yeah.
But I think that if I go in over her head and try and schedule a meeting, that's not gonna look great.
Your school, just like taking a step back, is like one of the most political schools I've ever heard of.
It's so political. It's ridiculous.
I like have never experienced that.
It's like incredible to me because like the counterpart boys school is like couldn't be more opposite. Like the head, like we have no relationship with our headmaster at all. Like we never seen her, versus the boys headmaster. He's like so present. Like the boys text him, they go to his house, which might be crossing lines, but that's almost better than this. I don't know. It's just like, it's really frustrating to me that I don't feel support from my school, because I think that like you would think they would try and be advocating something like this, because it's not like I'm like offending them. Like I'm trying to provide a free resource.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
Which is just doesn't make sense to me. But
Okay, well, I think like you know how to navigate your school, and so I trust you in that. Um, you have a couple of channels that you need to action on for in the coming week, basically.
Yeah, and I also realized, I mean, I don't know how if this had any impact, but like the person who did the crypto session, he's on the board of GA.
Okay,
I mean, maybe he like didn't like the program and like didn't like the way the session went, and he said something, and that could be it could be pushback from the board. Um,
got it.
and then I guess that could be technically like two board members who know about it, but like the one who complained about it being not,
Got it.
yeah. So that's the other thing I learned. I don't know. I mean, I can't think of anything specific that went wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder, I'm just looking up the Board of Trustees for Greenwich Academy right now. Who's the crypto person?
Suha Stafdor.
I don't think there is explicit.
I can't even find the board.
Yeah, it's not clear really anywhere.
Maybe like I don't even know.
Okay,
Okay.
that's like shocking to me. But
Wait here, I can see it. I don't know. It's just such a weird place.
okay.
Because I don't know, they like do so much emphasis on like DEI and like everything, which is important, but like at the same time, it doesn't feel like a very inclusive place.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I can't find it. I'm just when I search a board, it just comes up the board of DEI.
Okay. Cool. I mean, I think we just gotta like track. It's good insight. I don't know. Like if you have feedback, when you have a conversation with Donna Burns, you can also be like, is there anything that you're concerned about right now? What are you concerned about? You can ask straight up. You can be very explicit about it.
Right.
Okay. I don't have anything else for you right now because I think this is just like continuing to trudge along here. I think we can do a touch base before our next session. Like to continue on with this session because we have 30 minutes left for it, if you're open to that.
Yeah, that works.
Also, like are weekday sessions the only times you can do sessions, or can you do Sundays, evenings, perhaps?
Kind of depends on the week. This week I'm kind of busy, but well, it also wouldn't really make sense
Yep.
to me on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, we probably wouldn't have to meet until like the end of next week because I mean, honestly, like meeting frequently, like I'm probably not going to make that much progress because just given like the way that this is going, like it's not like that much can be done in a week.
Yep.
So I don't know, whatever you think, but yeah, Sundays normally are good, but probably not the evenings, like normally midday or like morning would be better.
Okay, awesome. Why don't we do a quick touch base this Sunday morning for 30 minutes at 11:30 a.m. to continue the session?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sending you the calendar invites. By the way, I hope you're getting the calendar invites.
Yeah, I have been getting them.
Okay.
Or I haven't been getting the invites. I just get the like Zoom thing.
What Zoom thing?
Like I just get the link, or maybe that is an invite.
I put it on Google Calendar.
Oh, I don't use Google Calendar.
I've been sending it to your Google Calendar.
I get an email like with the link.
Cool. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So I've done that. And then I'm gonna basically say that we're gonna have like a stopgap as a concierge on Sunday. And then basically I'm gonna move, start us on like Sunday afternoon thereafter.
Okay.
Would 5 p.m. that's too late for you?
Yeah. I'll look at my schedule and can I let you know?
Yeah. I'll just put it right now and I'm gonna do this in following events. Cool, but then I'll talk to you Sunday. And just like keep me updated. I'm like curious in between our sessions how things are going. So just it's helpful for me.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.